Hello and welcome back to Factorio C Block. In our last episode, we finally got through understanding what all the different recipes involved in crystal production, at least thus far, are needed for what they do, what they don't do, and all of those things. And we have finally gotten to the point where I think we can start, or we can finish our Hellmod plan, which will need a couple of changes based on some feedback, and we can also get that plan finished and maybe start building. I did start crafting all the things we need, a bunch of fish tanks most of all, because they require a lot of bronze pipes. What I should probably do at some point is set up a place to take in all of the, you can see I looted the belts here. Set up a place to take in all of the plates and make all of the different kinds of pipes, like a pipe mall, basically. I mean, we do have some of the pipes set up here, but a full-on pipe mall would be something that we probably need at some point. At least the ones that are needed in recipes, which we can find out thanks to Finay. So let's go ahead into our Hellmod and take a look at what we have so far and then tweak what we need to tweak from there. So we have, our intention is to make a small amount of carbonic crystal splinters along with a small amount of additional splinters, polished splinters of each color. And we have our plan that is making crystal grindstones, which is easily done. From crystal powder, which is exactly the amount of crystal powder we get back from this, from this coming out, going into that. So that's really kind of timely and even, which is nice, although it's not going to be all we need, or all we have, I should say. So we have the raw crystal splinters. We're going to make those from crystal seeds and polluted artificial fish water. Crystal seeds and inoculated petri dishes, which we will need to have, no, I had that right the first time. Crystal seeds are made from crystal seeds and polluted artificial fish water. And making crystal seeds, I actually want to take this entire block we have here, which was making the actual crystals, and take it out. And the reason I want to do that is because we also will need more crystals when it comes time to make the crystal slurry. So I want to go ahead and take this out, and we'll put it back in a little while as a completely separate build. And for right now, that means we'll just be needing those. And then the rest of these things, except for hydrochloric acid, are bus level items. I mean, give or take the copper and iron ores, obviously, what we do have on the bus, except for the polluted artificial fish water. We have two demands of that, and we have this that we built last time, which will take in our, what is that number? Right, that number's not right. We only need 47.5 of that. Why are you making 50-something? 47.5. Interesting. Why did that misreport? I don't know. Okay. Whatever. This here, we will just make like that, and that just needs water and saline. I'm not going to put saline in here because I think I need to have the base sort of waters handled separately, but we do need to make nutrient pulp because I want to have a dedicated nutrient pulp crafting going on here. So let's use corn. We talked about, I think, this a couple of episodes ago, using corn, and I want to push that into its own separate thing. And we need to have weird how that worked out, but that's okay. We need to have a little bit of this going on. Why does that show? Oh, never mind. I know why that. Never mind. We're gonna make it out of wheaten, which was what we talked about before. Wheaten we'll need to make with wheaten seeds, and we'll need to make wheaten seeds out of wheaten. But we also need to make some of this soil. We're going to use the mud and compost combination here. And we're going to use wheaten to make the compost. Because why not? We've got wheaten all for days. And then what I want to do beyond that is to make the mud locally here. And we could make it from the opposite. That's the ingredient there. We could just make it here. But that will be... Actually, we could just make it there. And we could just vent the rest of that. I think that's what we'll do, is we'll just vent the rest of that. And we can actually knock this down to that even. Because we don't need the higher level one. And we'll just vent the heavy mud water. Hydrogen sulfide, we could vent it or we could take it elsewhere, but this should be fine. We could add more of these in, but honestly, it's going to probably cost us more energy in the end to add the next tiers in, and it's not going to really get us much. But we also will need to do a matrix solver on this, just to make sure that it works out okay. 0.86, yeah, so we could potentially balance that a little better, but I think this is fine. And this basically gets us from raw materials to what we need here. And this, with the exception of the saline, which is easily enough made, this is raw materials to what we need here with the venting of those materials there. So that takes care of that. The next thing we need to deal with is going to be, I think, hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is made from hydrogen chloride gas, so we're going to push that into its own separate thingy as well. And we'll make hydrogen chloride gas from hydrogen and chlorine, and we'll make those from saline water, which is why I didn't want to make a separate build for saline, or I want to make a separate build for saline water, I should say. Since this produces more hydrogen than chlorine, and we need to have equal amounts, we want to make sure that's primary. So we're going to be venting a little bit of hydrogen here, but that's okay. And here we have purified water and saline, which are next to base materials. Not base, but next to base, or base enough, I should say. And then I think the last thing we need to do is to deal with this crystal slurry. Because all of these things we already have on the bus, with the exception of that. Wait, where's the purified? Oh, we're at a net positive still for purified water here. That's good. And let's see. Yeah, so crystal slurry will be the next thing we make. And I want to make that a little bit differently here, I think. So there's a thing Veronica suggested or pointed out, and I think this is the right time to talk about it, is that even though we're making these in these amounts, we're not going to use these in even amounts. These will be used as they're used, but these we're not going to make in even amounts. So we'll need to either store up massive amounts of them or cull them when we have too many of them relative to their peers. So we're going to do a little bit of a circuit shenanigans on this, I think. For the outputs of these, so that we can recycle some of these into back into crystal powder to make into crystal slurry. Now, I'm not going to calculate that. I'm going to make this factory as if I'm going to constantly be making these things. I'm going to make this plan, I should say. And then what I'm going to do is just prioritize the recycling of the surplus of these guys into slurry over the slurry process that we're going to build. And I think that will work out okay. So let's go ahead and set up slurry. So I want to set the slurry up the way we kind of had it earlier, which is not from powder, but from dust. And then push that into a separate build once again. And click on that. And then we're going to take the dust now. Actually, no, that doesn't go into a separate build. Come back out again. That stays alone here, because we have dust, and we want to make dust. Let's make some dust. Yes. And then we do this, and then we do this, and we go back in here and we do dust. And then we can do these from this. And that will mean we get heavy mud water, and that's it. And we just do a matrix solver on this one. 1.65 is the same as 0.9 plus 0.75, so that's good. And again, this has base materials, in this case, coming out of it. We will have some crushed stone coming out, too, that we'll need to feed into our recycler for that stuff. No big deal. But we also will need to make sulfuric acid. And for that one, I do want to push that into its own separate factory here, or sub-factory here. There. Because we're going to take in sulfur dioxide gas from sulfur, and the sulfur is going to come from the recycling of sulfuric wastewater, because we have sulfuric wastewater as a byproduct here, 3.5 of it, and we can consume 3.375 of it to make the sulfuric acid we need to keep this process going. Now, of course, we have a the possibility that this part of the factory won't run at, well, this part of the factory from here down, these 3 lines, won't run at full speed because they are, they require more, or because we're going to have the feedback from this in there, but that's okay. We can handle that. This requires oxygen. You have a surplus of oxygen here. Why do you have a surplus of oxygen? Because of this. Oh, because we have air here, and we have water electrolysis here. We could take the oxygen from this and feed it down into here. It's still a surplus. We still want to overflow vent it, but we can do that. And then we still need in purified water and mineralized. Wait, sorry, we have out purified water, net, and mineralized water. So that's fine. And mineralized water we can push into our recycling as well to make into more ores. And then I think this is good. We're net positive on oxygen. Let's see. We still need to deal with the saline, and we're still net positive on purified water. We can just do this recipe here. We're kind of close. We could start to do, or it could be pretty close to these. Not sure. Desalination plants eventually, maybe. But for now, at least we'll have to have a surplus of purified water that we just drain. So we have steel, silicon, charcoal, steam, which is water, cellulose, glass, copper and iron ores, water, and viscous mud water. Those are either bus ingredients in the case of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, or raw ingredients in the case of 2 or 3 of these. And we're going to have to vent hydrogen from here. You had hydrogen in here too, didn't you? Yeah, so we could do something different here, but I think what I'll do is keep this running at the speed that it's at and vent the hydrogen from the other thing, rather than trying to combine this and doing some shenanigans that will almost certainly cause a problem. No, wait, this is 0. Where's the hydrogen coming from? Well, it is just coming from down here. Okay, so yeah, we'll just vent this hydrogen, and the other hydrogen will make it break even. We'll have to vent some oxygen on overflow. That's no problem either. And we'll have to vent purified water, to vent or send to our sulfur recycling a little bit of sulfuric wastewater. We'll have to vent heavy mud water. We'll have to send to our recycling, sulfur recycling, or vent hydrogen sulfide. We'll have to send our sodium hydroxide away, our crushed stone away, and our mineralized water away. Lots of byproducts here, which is unfortunate, but that's the way that it kind of goes sometimes with Angel Bobs. So I think this is a plan, and so I think we can build it, but what I want to do before we build it is to make all the factories we need. Actually, you know what we should do before we even get that far, is we should go through this and see if there's any factory buildings that we want to adjust the level or the tier of to make it more efficient. So you'll consume 155 kilowatts there. No. Times 2.125. Or you'll consume 207 times 1.4. That's a little over 300, and that'll be about the same. It doesn't really matter. I think we'll just go with the more here, because the cheaper ones are better. And just kind of go through each of these factories and make sure that going at the tier we're at is the best situation. Like, we could knock that down, we could knock this down, that's a good idea. This one's fine. This is fine. That is all it can be. Over here, we could take these 3 down to 2. And then this goes here down to 1.67. So 2, that's probably fine. This can come down to 1. That's great. This has to be a red one, so that's fine. This is exactly 1. That's disturbing. Down here, we have these already knocked down. That's fine. That'll be 2 of those. That'll be a little over 2 of these. Do I want to take that down to 2 of those? That might be better, because then I can feed the brown algae directly into those if I choose to. This and that. Those are all good numbers. These are all yellow or gray machines, and they're all really, really tiny amounts. Here I don't know how many of those I ended up making, but I assume I made approximately the right number. We have this, we have that. This is the one we're going to have to make one of these as red and 3 of them as yellow in order to compensate for that tiny little bit extra that we need. Which is interesting, because you make... Why do you need 0.08 extra? Interesting. Must be like a weird number that it makes. Must be. And then in here, those numbers are fine. This will have to be that. Don't have a choice there. This is not going to save us anything, so we'll leave it as gray. And that we already knocked down to yellow. In here, this is fine. All yellows. In here, these are all pretty tiny. Pretty tiny numbers, that is. So that's good. This one, if we went to yellow, it would be over 1, so we'll keep it at red. And then down here, these are all tiny numbers too. So these are the factories we need, and this summary will tell us what we need to have made. Let me cancel this last one just in case we don't actually need it. Because we don't actually. I have one too many already. Must have been that 50-something versus the 47.5 something. Okay, so starting out at the top here, we need to have 20 of these. I don't have enough stuff. I need more green circuits. So down here. I was kind of standing in this general area because I knew I would probably need stuff. All right, so that takes care of that's 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we needed 1 of those chemical furnaces, which I have made. Yes, and 5 of the gray machines. I have 8 of those because I had some made before we figured out what we wanted to rebalance, so that's fine. We'll use them eventually. We need to have 3 of these. And I have 1, and we need more bricks. Walk Molly, there we go. Three of those. 4 crystal thingies. Those are here. I have 4. 4 red of these thingies. I have 2. That's 3. And then I need brown circuits. Four. 2 of these, I think I have those made. Where are they? I could also find them over here someplace. I think I made them. Maybe I didn't make them. What are those called again? Thermal water bore. No, and they need clay bricks. There's they are. Uh-oh. Something is up. What is broken? You're broken. Not enough ventilation for the carbon dioxide? Where am I sending that off to? Or there. Going in. Why are you making... Did I break a pipe someplace? Oh, I did. I did. This got moved somehow. Maybe I rearranged it accidentally. I know when I did it. At some point I moved the mud into landfill up here, and that's what broke it. But I didn't realize that I had broken it. And so now we don't have any clay bricks. Okay. Well, that's going to be a problem. But so I will finish making these things off camera, and in the next episode, we will come back in and finally start building this massive, ridiculous project that we've been working on for a few episodes now. But luckily, that gets us really close to the end of the of this part of the game of the red, green science stuff. We need to do a few more plant-based things. The whatever these science packs are called again, optimized biome planner science packs. These things will be pretty basic in our plan, and then we need to just deal with modules and and then the subsequent tier 0 modules, which won't take very much time at all. I don't think. And then from there we can get ready to do blue science. So we're probably just a handful of episodes away from that, and then from there we can see what else comes up. But for now, we're going to leave this here, and in the next one we will do something new. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.